Welcome back. It's another episode of that Grimoire Gang.
Hey,
Today we got a special guest with us today. It's my shorty, my love, Alyssa. Talk to him.
who?
Talk to him.
What's up, everybody? My name's Alyssa. Artist, designer, kind of a nerd about certain stuff. Not everything like
shit.
these guys.
Yeah, you're a nerd. You're a pretty big nerd. I think you were a big nerd, and then I think
You
You
play
got
D&D with us, so
Yeah,
you
you play
get the
D&D.
stamp.
You're right.
Unfortunately,
You're a
you're
true
branded
D&D
with the
group.
stamp. You don't get to
I'm in it.
choose anymore.
Yep.
you're almost
Once-
a founding member of Grimoire
I
Gang.
Play
know. I did the
D&D.
logo. I did the artwork for Grimoire.
You
I'm
are
really
a founding
proud of
member,
it.
literally. Yeah.
Yeah, shout out.
Yeah, you did the logo. Yeah.
Yeah, our logo is super tight.
It might be right
It was
here,
really fun.
maybe.
It might be right here.
Or
Other
over
side
there.
usually
Other side?
is usually in like the bottom left corner.
Bottom
We'll
left.
see.
Oh, bottom left is right here on my screen.
Oh,
But-
weird.
If you're looking for a logo designer for your pod, let me know.
Where can they
Yeah.
find you?
At Moralissa on Instagram. That's me.
hmm Hit her up for some designs and logos. She be putting the pen to the paper, as it were.
Yes.
If you know what I mean.
And that man with the words, that's IndigoFather100.
That's me,
Legendary Twitch streamer.
legendary.
MK Ultra enthusiast.
Yes, I'm big on brainwashing.
Wow. Crazy take.
Big on it. Big on it. Big
Wild
on it.
Really-
pick.
Really fell into that one.
I did.
It's
Yeah.
Like what? 5 minutes?
Well, and me, I'm Marcus M. Murray. You know, the triple M. The only triple M in existence currently, Omega Marcusus.
Triple M. Triple M.
And we are the Grimoire Gang. Cue the music.
Spin that shit.
All right, Colin. I need like a feather for that.
A
So that it,
feather.
like to feather the music so that it like
Mhm.
fades out instead of just like that's it. You
Just
get
cuts immediately.
You just get 16 seconds of our intro. We're working on it. This is episode 3.
Yeah, it's only
This is episode 4.
4.
It feels like so many.
Wow. It feels like so many because me and you have been podcasting for quite some time.
Years, in fact.
Yep. Dude, I was working at Cox when we were doing Tapped In. I remember I used to listen to them back while I was driving.
That's where I listen to them too, where I drive.
Yep.
Shout
What are
out
we
to,
talking about today,
formerly Tom-
Omega?
Oh, we're talking about
Look at
comic
Kali.
books. Yeah, look at Kali. Shout out to Kali.
She's
Sorry.
a special guest too.
She's a special guest too. She's a sweetie.
She's a paid actor. Look at her.
But she can't read though, and so that's why she hasn't officially been on, because she's too dumb to talk about comic books or books. And that's what we're talking about today. Comic book. This is a comic book episode.
It's a comic book episode. We're
I feel like-
straying. Wait, there's still books. So
It's still books. It's
It's
still,
still a book.
in the Grimoire.
Mangas
it's
are books.
words.
Comics are books. Fucking what
Books,
else?
books.
What else would be considered a book?
I don't know what else. What kind of other kind of audio books? Audio books are books.
Yeah, those are books.
Comic books,
Pamphlets.
newspapers, pamphlets. Shout out
Not a book.
to
It's not a book?
Okay. Yeah, it's too
Okay.
short. It's a short.
Well, short stories.
I don't.
Pamphlets are short stories.
Pamphlets. Pamphlets
kids
are
do-
made to tell stories.
It's made for information. You're
It's
correct,
made to sell
I
things
guess.
in like a concise way, and so it can't be a grimoire. But
Apparently,
a comic
this
book-
is
There are zines that are like books, short stories, and zines.
magazines.
I mean, well, zines. So zines like mini zines.
It's
Zine.
like a mini magazine. It's a short form. It's like
It's big in Denver.
thing.
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
not heard of that.
It's like you self-publish like stories or comic books or like informational booklets. It's like in between pamphlet and book or pamphlet and magazine, there are zines. Because
This
they
is
could
a
be
podcast where we get into the nuance of what really is a book.
right.
That's what you'll
what's
find
considered
here.
a book
Yeah, that's what you'll find here.
every time.
What we talk? Oh yeah, we're talking about comic books.
Yep.
You want to tell us about your history with comics and the like?
Yeah, tell us your history of comics and the like.
Yeah, tell us.
Me? I
Um,
said it first, but sure. Me and comic books, we go way back like two flats on a Cadillac, as they
mm,
say in Omaha, Nebraska. Sometimes nobody said that here, but yeah, I've been into comics since I was a kid because my cousin, who was an adult when I was a kid, he already had a shit ton of comic books. So I would always, sneak and read his comic books, and he would get pissed off at me. He
really?
beat me up one time. Yep. And
Damn.
yeah, because
Was he
I
like a
mean,
collector
he
collector or
was a
were you just fucking him
collector.
up? Oh, okay.
He was a collector, and I'm like, I want to read that shit. You can't just have. He had action figures still in the package and shit, and he
Oh
had all these
shit.
fucking comic books. I'm like, I'm a child. I want to play with these things. I want to read these things. I'm interested. Why don't you just show me instead of being a little bitch about it? But
Damn.
yeah, he was an
But
asshole.
does he still have these? Cuz I feel
No, he
like
does
that's
not.
crazy.
He
Oh,
doesn't.
really?
If he did, dude, he had so much shit. If he did still have those things, they would be like worth some shit.
Bro, my brother literally collected Ninja Turtles. Like he
He
was
had some of those
always
too.
he was always such a weirdo in my eyes cuz he's 10 years older than me. And I remember he always had Ninja Turtles in and outside of the boxes.
hmm
He paid for grad school with his Ninja Turtles in the boxes.
That's
That's
insane.
crazy.
Like as an adult, he was probably like, I don't know, this was just a couple years ago, but he was selling them on eBay for like big bucks, man. Like
Yeah, that's
one Ninja Turtle
crazy.
for $500. That's insane.
That is
Yeah,
fucking
it's nuts.
crazy. But
Yeah,
yeah, I've always been reading comic books and kind of I like, when I was younger, I would just, read random ones here and there, whatever I can come across or
right.
find before like the internet was such a thing. But like towards college years, I started to actually, do more of deep dives into stuff. My favorite comic books are X-Men comic books.
Tight.
I fucks with the X-Men heavy.
Me too.
I was happy to see, Wolverine and Deadpool because I fucking love Wolverine. I also
Me
love
too.
Deadpool, but I love Wolverine.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I've always been on that shit.
I feel that.
What about you, Omega Marcusus?
Yeah, I mean, kind of the same thing. My brother wasn't a big collector of comic books. Some of my earliest memories of comic books, though, because I've always been drawn to the art. Like, like I've always been an artist. Like, I've always been doodling and drawing comic book characters. And so when I was young, my mom and I would always go to secondhand bookstores, and secondhand bookstores would have comic books, just random comic books, right? Like for like 5 cents back in the day, or maybe 50 cents or $1. But something cheap. And I just remember like she'd be like looking through, like this labyrinth of secondhand books, and I'd be like over in the corner dedicated to just random ass comics. And so early on, I just had a bunch of just really weird like horror pulpy comics, not even anything like mainstream because I mean I think I could read, but like I didn't do a lot of it. I was mostly in it for the art.
Sick.
In the early 90s, the art is a very like specific way. And then but like getting into like more mainstream comics, it was the early drawing books that I got that was like
I had those.
you like
How to
draw
draw
Iron Man in
Spider-Man.
six
Yeah, I already
steps.
know.
And it
Yeah.
was always crazy. It was always like you start off with a couple of circles, then you
hmm
add the lines to connect, and then all of a sudden you have Spider-Man. And so all my shit was fucked up because there
You
was
know
never
what's
like a, you know,
I never, okay, so I used to get those books all the time, but my issue was anytime I tried to follow the steps, like, oh,
yeah,
start with the outline and then do this, it would always look like shit. But if
That's
I
yeah,
me
just
too.
look at it and then draw it, then it looks just like that. But doing that, I don't really learn how to make a full composite sketch. I don't really
hmm
understand. I never really like fully understood sketching
right.
because it would always turn out like shit when I tried.
Yeah,
But
sketching is
that's
hard for me.
it's really hard. I don't know. I can't do it. I wish I could, but I probably just didn't never practice enough.
I think, but even with those, I don't know how there were so many like drawing books back then because I don't know anyone that really was on it like that with those steps. It was like step 1, step 2, step 3. Like as an adult and someone who does a lot of drawing, I mean that's how I draw stuff, you know, the circles, the lines. But like there was no other kid who that was what it was sold for. No other kid was like, "Oh yeah, you got to draw the circles and
I
then,
agree.
you know what I mean?"
Even the kids who could like really draw back then, they wouldn't even
They
do
would
like
just
they
draw.
wouldn't even throw down a sketch. They just draw. Cause that was
Yeah.
like that's how I was. I mean, I could only draw stuff that I could like stuff that I'm seeing, but like I couldn't like come up with a new fucking character or even like take a character that I'm seeing and then pose them a different way. I
Mhm.
can just draw
Right.
what it is. But, it was good, but it wasn't, really worth anything because it's the same shit.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how a lot of the kids were that could, that were really good at drawing and shit. There would be like one kid who was like good at like doodling and stuff, but,
There's always
not
that
too many
one.
like technical artists out there in middle school and elementary school.
Right. Um, Alyssa, yeah, what was your, first experience with comics?
Uh, yeah. So I think for me again was like influence from an older person in my life. It was my brother. He's just a few years older than me, and it was probably super annoying to him growing up. But I wanted to do everything he did. I was like into basketball. I was into. He loved Lil Wayne. I loved Lil Wayne. I wanted to do everything he did. And so he was reading comic books, and he was a big Spider-Man nerd. That was like his number one. And so then, of course, I got really into Spider-Man, and that's why he's one of my favorites. Um, yeah, but same kind of shit. Like we went to the library a lot growing up, and like we do these summer reading programs, and so I check out those art books, and we'd look at all the comics that they had. My brother would always get comics, and then I'd read the ones that he'd read. So yeah, that's kind of how I got into it. And then I kind of fell off a bit. Like high school and college, I wasn't really as into them, and just kind of stopped and got more into like art books and other types of like fiction and stuff that I really liked. Yeah, now I think I read more than I had like over the last few years. I've been reading them more frequently.
Yeah. I mean, shout out to
What are
libraries
you
Yeah.
Big shout outs to libraries. I'm actually
because
about to start taking my kids to the library so they can, check out whatever they want. But what are your favorite comic books, both of you? Like favorite
favorite
comic book series or characters or whatever, what sticks
Yeah.
out for y'all?
I'll go first because I really like Image Comics.
image.
Like
Yeah.
Marvel is really dope, obviously, and like DC has some good stuff, but I think Image just has some kind of underrated stuff that's really good. And like I've just found some stuff that I really love. So one series that I read is Paper Girls, and that I'm gonna show you 'cause it's really cute. But the artwork is just all kind of funky and
That
like
looks dope.
colorful and gradient. Like it has all kinds of stuff that I like. It's like about 12-year-old girls who are on a paper route, and then it's like I think it's set in like 1980s. I want to say like late 80s, and then they're delivering on Halloween, and they run into this crazy portal that monsters are coming out of, and it turns into this whole like time travel, other worlds kinds of shit, and then they meet future selves, and it's just really good.
That
Yeah,
sounds dope.
I love
That
Image
comic's
Comics got
crazy.
some Image Comics got some fucking gems. That's where
yeah,
Invincible. That's the
yeah,
Yeah,
Invincible
yeah.
comics.
And
And we see how
yeah,
fucking
it's creator owned too. So like a lot of people go to Image because they pay the artists and writers like a actual like living like a big chunk of the residuals. You
they
know what
got
I
some
mean?
bangers.
yeah. I like Paper Girls, Invincible, obviously, and then there's this other one that I need to finish called Weatherman. That was kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Too. Yeah,
Yeah, Weatherman is tight. They got
Okay.
like Black Hammer. Black Hammer's really tight on there. Saga. I could go on and on about Image Comics, honestly. This is an Image
Okay, yeah.
Comics love pod.
Oh yeah, well, shouts out to Image Comics. We know the CEO is listening.
Yep.
Shouts out to you.
He's a big fan.
Rate us 5 stars on all platforms.
Yep. He's a seed donor. Is that what
What?
they call it?
Hold on, wait. Hold on a second.
Seed donor.
Not
A
a seed
seed
donor.
Don't
donor?
say that.
Seed in seed investor. What do they call it?
I don't think you're wrong, but it just doesn't sound right.
I think I am wrong in a way that is. He's not my seed donor.
Oh, now you're just saying seed donor instead of
Seed donor is so
Last
funny.
episode we had seed beds, and I think
Oh,
somehow that
seed bed.
ingrained. Yeah. But it's like, someone who invests in a startup. Anyways, that's him. Whoops. I know you're listening at home.
Oops.
One of my, you know what? I'm going to keep it spooky because I got comics on comics in the backlog.
angel investors.
That's not angel. I'm not looking for angel investor. Anyways, a comic that I want to, bring up is a comic called Fatale. And it was also on Image Comics. It ran for like 2 years, and it's about it's basically a femme fatale, right? But it's sort of Victorian Lovecraftian horror. Basically, this lady is immortal, and then there's a cult that worship old gods that's pursuing her across like the decades, and she's basically kind of investigating the cult and running away from it, but like across various eras in history, so in the far past, Salem witch trials, and in 1950s Hollywood, the golden age, and then in a more modern time. But every time she always has like a couple of dudes that are following after her that like are in love with her, and they all end up dead in grisly ways because it's like there's a cult, and then there are these weird tentacled monstrosities that are also following after her, and it's really tight. I read them all like in one night when I was doing overnights at the Denver Art Museum. I was just reading this comic, guarding a gallery, and had the time of my life.
It sounds cool.
Yeah. What you got, Indigo?
What do I got?
Yeah.
I already told you all my favorite ones. X-Men.
X-Men.
Yeah.
Which era of X-Men would you say?
Probably, I want to say Uncanny X-Men.
Okay. Yeah.
Kind of like, the general, but like the one everybody thinks of when they think
Yeah.
about X-Men. But I also like the random, like more like obscure ones. I can't remember what it's called. But Cyclops is the leader, and he has a big ass X on his face. And there's Gold Balls is on his team. You know Gold Balls?
Oh yeah. Goldball
Yeah.
is a big deal in the Krakoa
Yeah.
era
Dude, fucking
because
Gold Balls?
but you know that Goldball, it turns out those are
They're eggs.
And
That shit
it's
is so
nasty.
weird, dude.
Well, yeah, it's a whole thing. We can get into that.
Yeah.
Because today what we're going into is our reading of what is it, Ultimate
The
Universe?
Ultimate Universe.
But first, a word from our sponsor, and then this is where Alyssa, you could get off. We'll say adios to our fucking.
Wait, should we have Alyssa break down what's it called? Paper Girls in 30 seconds? Because she's a guest.
Paper Girls in 30 seconds.
30
Okay.
seconds. Paper
Eric,
Girls. Let me pull
I'll
up the
let you do
clock
it.
for you.
Okay.
Ready?
Okay.
We love a countdown over here. Ready? 3, 2.
Okay, it's a retro ragtag group of girls. They're 12-year-olds. They're paper girls on a paper route. They're really independent. For the 80s, they're kind of finding themselves. They're like coming of age as tweens, but then they run into this crazy portal, run into a bunch of monsters, travel time, meet their future selves, meet super crazy space people, and then they just kind of learn a lot about themselves and friendship and kind of save the world a little bit too. They're really awesome.
Time.
That's pretty good.
That
Stop!
was pretty good.
It was good.
Hold on.
Stop!
Hold on.
But yeah, read
That was
Paper
good.
Girls. It's great. I love comics that have women and girls. You just gotta have more of that.
Women empowerment.
Yeah.
That's another aspect and pinnacle that we base our values on for this podcast.
Yup.
We fuck with women.
Yup.
A lot of women that listen, about 3,000 or something, Shouts out to
Yep.
y'all.
Yep.
Uh, 5 stars on all platforms.
5 stars on all platforms. Alyssa,
Alyssa,
thanks for coming on today.
we appreciate you. Our
Yep.
first guest,
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for talking
Okay.
a
comics.
privilege. Thanks for talking
Yeah.
comics. This is a good one.
And thanks for a good logo. You've actually made the logo for all of our
You
podcasts.
did. Yeah,
So,
you did. And they've
or for
all
this
been
one and the last
fire.
one. Yeah.
They've all been
Really
fire.
fun.
Shouts out to you. You do your thing.
Podcast logos are super fun.
Yeah. You love them.
Doing it.
You fucking
Again,
love
one
them.
more time, can you give us where they can find you?
Yes. Just Instagram at more Alyssa. That's it.
Yeah.
The only place I'm at.
There
I
it
don't
is.
post a lot of art shit these days, but
It's
Hit her
coming.
up.
connect.
She's working on it.
Hit her up. Peace.
Bye.
Peace. Speaking of logos that she's done, let's talk about one of the first ones. Our sponsor, the Omega Bazaar. That's right. You may not know this, but Alyssa's first logo she did for me was for the Omega Bazaar, your one-stop
What?
shop for stickers and mostly just stickers. And behind the scenes look into my artistic process. That's right. If you need stickers on something, hit up the Omega Bazaar and check out that sweet ass logo that Alyssa did
Hell yeah.
4 years ago.
4 years ago. Damn. That's the first one. That's sick. Come
Yeah.
get your stickers, bitch.
Come get your stickers from the Omega Bazaar.
Yeah.
Don't you wonder where the hell you are? It's the Omega Bazaar. Every time is just a different.
It's a
Omega
different one
Bazaar
every time.
jingle.
Okay. All right.
I'm with that.
So
Getting into it.
let's get into it. Yeah.
Yeah, I had to spread my legs out for this one.
I feel you. So today we are going to be breaking down what probably would be considered the first two comics of Marvel's new universe that they've started. It's pretty much it's new for everybody, so I think that this will be a solid start for people who maybe want to just get into comics but don't really want to read any old things, just want to hop into some new shit. This is new, brand new, started this year. It's called the Ultimate Universe for Marvel.
It's new, but it is old.
Yes, yeah, correct. Go on, expand on that.
I mean, that's actually going into it. The Marvel. So I didn't get Marvel comics until they started the Ultimate Spider-Man back.
Mm,
And Michael Bendis, back in the early 2000s. I think like 2000, 2001.
hmm
This is the universe that we got Miles Morales from. But it's like, as with any Marvel universe, it's like a little bit different.
hmm
But that universe, like, things were completely different. Spider-Man's background, the X-Men were different, and it had a
Yep.
good run, right? But then in 2015, Secret Wars basically collided all of the Marvel universes together onto Battle World, and that resulted in the entire Ultimate Universe like being destroyed. And so then, like, when everything was said and done, the only two characters that really crossed over from that was Miles Morales, who's known and loved, and then probably one of the largest threats to the main line Marvel universe is the maker is Reed Richards from the Ultimate Universe, who had his family killed, got rejected by Sue, and then became like the ultimate bad guy.
Yep. He's a bastard. And what is it? And okay, so the first one we're gonna be talking about, we'll probably hop back and forth, but the the issues that we're gonna be talking about is Ultimate Universe issue number one, and also Ultimate Spider-Man issue number one, 2024. You want to start us out?
Yeah. So Ultimate Universe is the first one from like after Ultimate Invasion. So Ultimate Invasion takes place half between the main line and this Ultimate Universe, right? The Maker escapes from prison in Ultimate Invasion and basically rewrites the history in an alternate universe. He gets there, he stops Peter Parker from getting bitten. He actually gets a bunch of different like catalysts for a lot of the heroes to actually become heroes. Or and then he also creates like this weird shadow council that's basically controlling the planet by making different councils bad guys. So in like the current iteration in Ultimate
The Hulk is in it.
universe, yeah, so like the Hulk is one of these shadow members. He like leads a weird cabal of enlightened humans that like reject the allure of rage. Colossus, his sister Magic, and Omega Red, they're the leaders of the Russian Confederation, basically, who are like poised to be the main bad guys of this era. But in Ultimate Universe, Iron Man has been killed, but Iron Man is actually Howard Stark. And
Tony's dad.
yeah, and Tony Anthony Stark is Iron Lad. He's taken up the
Hmm.
mantle to sort of I mean at the start of Ultimate Universe, it seems like he's trying to put together a team, right? Like
Yeah,
he's trying to fight the
he,
Maker and these other forces.
him, and do they call that character Doctor?
It's Doctor Doom, but it's another version of Reed Richards.
Okay, got you. So yeah, so basically, it seems like him and Doctor Doom, they seem to be the only people who know how the universe actually should be before the Maker fucked it all up in his quest to eliminate all heroes. Like Marcus was saying, he basically like took certain people out of situations where they could have become a hero. For instance, instead of Peter Parker when he was like in high school or whatever getting bit by the spider, he took the spider. So he has those in like he keeps them in like fucking Lavaria.
Yeah, he's taken over Latveria where he
Yeah.
has basically a hyperbolic time chamber. That's
Mhm.
like a whole other thing is like the Maker has created a world inside of a hyperbolic time chamber from DBZ where he can watch how things play out
Mhm. It's
across like
basically an experiment. Like this
yeah,
is all for
yeah,
an experiment. And Tony Stark, yeah, Tony Stark and Doctor Doom, they're the only ones that know. And what their goal currently is to basically take the catalyst and make all the superheroes into superheroes and
right.
shit, and like so they can form a team and take shit over. The first person they go for is Thor, which if you're going to start out, that's a pretty good place to start.
Yeah.
Thor looks cool as fuck as
He's
usual.
jacked.
He's a badass. He beheads somebody immediately.
He's in prison.
Oh yeah, he starts out in prison and they break him out, and I'm pretty sure he could have just broke out whenever if he wanted to. He just didn't feel like
I
it.
I don't know what the deal is with that.
So
Yeah, it seems like he could.
Asgard seems to have been taken over by Loki.
Yep.
Loki killed Odin,
Yep.
and I guess he's the Allfather currently. And for some reason, Thor is imprisoned by Lady Sif. Um, but contact like in the story, it kind of seems like he's in prison of his own volition because he still has a call over Mjolnir, so he could have instantly just fucking had it flying to a cell and then teleport out or something. So after they free Thor, they try to go to Latveria and try to get some of the catalysts so they can make some more superheroes. While they're there, they do find one. They find the spider, the one that was supposed to turn Peter Parker into Spider-Man. And as they're about to try to maybe find more or escape or whatever, Thor gets stabbed through the back by Captain fucking Britain.
Captain Britain, but he's
He's
French.
French. He's
And
French.
he's part of like the shadow council of
Yeah.
people running the world.
Yep. He stabs the shit out of him, they and Tony Stark ends up fucking blasting his eyeball out.
Yeah.
Why the fuck is he French? Is he always French?
Well, okay, so with Captain Britain, there's something about there are these artifacts that he has, like the sword and something. There's two artifacts, and so whoever holds that, it has the mantle of Captain Britain. But
So you
since
don't have
he's
to be
French,
British.
yeah, you don't have to be British, but also the countries are different in this world too. So like
And
all
he's
of
also go
oh,
ahead.
go ahead.
I was just gonna say he's also not like a super. He doesn't have like the super soldier serum like Captain America.
No, so it's Captain Britain. Captain Britain in the comics is he's a leader of the the mutants in Britain. Like he's a mutant.
Oh, he's
In
a
the main
mutant.
Yeah, in the main line, Captain Britain is a mutant. He's the leader of one of the mutant teams over there. But then there's also like some magical aspects to him too. I'm not like 100 on his background, but he was during the Krakoa era. He was like part of the mutants that were living on Krakoa.
He was able to stab Thor, which is not a easy feat.
It can't be, yeah,
And also, Captain America is encased in ice,
yeah.
and
As always,
it seems like they currently can't free him without either destroying his body or robbing him of the super soldier serum because they're gonna try to like replace his blood and they think it might fuck with his
mess
serum or
him up.
whatever.
Yeah,
But yeah, so they escape.
and I think Captain America might be black.
I don't think so. Was he?
I it looks like it might be Isaiah Bradley, but I
I'm gonna
don't
have to
know.
look again.
But yeah, I mean they. So when this happens, right? So he shoots out Captain Britain, who's French, his eye. They retreat back to the Tony Stark tower, and they're like trying to heal Thor. And then in the meantime, Captain Britain, who's French, has donned an eye patch and is talking to like the other members of the Shadow Council. And in talking to him, he's basically just whining. And the Shadow
Whining about
Council's
his
like,
fucking eyeball.
yeah.
I'm
And so then
disfigured. That's how, how I
yeah,
imagine
yeah.
him saying it.
And some other French shit. And so then like and then they're like, well, it doesn't matter anyways. Because like one of the main reasons why Tony's dad tried to fight the Maker and helped imprison the Maker is because up until this point, the Russians were like the main bad guys of the world. And Tony Stark's dad learned that it was now America's turn to be the bad guys. And he didn't want to do that. So he tried to fight the Maker. And basically, the Shadow Council sort of reenacted that plan anyways by by shooting weird
Fucking
alien
super
satellite
laser.
from space and destroying the Tony's tower. And also, it turns out it also killed a bunch of people. That we find out
Bunch of
that
important people.
it was seen as like a terrorist attack, and so it was like, oh, now in the
And
eyes of
Tony's
the
being
world,
blamed.
yeah, in the eyes of the world, the Stark stain like emperor, like technogarchs, those are the bad guys now, even though they've like been destroyed? Question mark. I think they kind of leave it up to interpretation. I kind of think they're still. Well, we know they're still alive because then we get into Spider-Man, Ultimate Spider-Man.
Ultimate Spider-Man issue 1, 2024.
Do we know how old Spider-Man is,
I
or
don't think
Peter
they
Parker?
say. I don't think they say, but
It
he's
sounds like
grown
he's
as
like
fuck.
30 or 40, like mid to late 30s or 40, because he says that
Maybe.
he was
Well,
supposed to be bitten 20 years ago and he didn't. So then he has like a whole family with MJ. He has two kids that are like,
I feel
kid
like he
age.
got to be like early 30s because J. Jonah Jameson is calling him kid, and I feel like if he was like 35, he wouldn't call him that.
My only thing
Maybe
is,
29
he says that 20 years ago he was supposed to get bitten. And so we know he's a
years ago. I thought you
20
said
years ago.
10.
So I think he's like 38, 30. he's at least 37. He's 37 and up.
Hmm.
But in this universe, we like quickly come to realize that like
35.
he's 35. Okay, so yeah,
You are correct.
JJ he's working at the Daily Bugle. J. Jonah
He's
Jameson is like really good friends with guess who? Ben Parker, who's still alive,
he's alive.
also running the Daily Bugle.
Yep.
I kind of like this change where it was like because the first time you see Jonah Jameson, he's like yelling, but
Parker.
only because he's yelling at his uncle and like, but he's nice,
They give
for
you a
once in
little.
his life.
I like how they give you a little switcheroo there,
Yeah,
like a
yeah,
little, you know, to what their relationship was before. Because you think like,
right,
oh, he's yelling at Peter per usual. Turns out he's actually
right,
yelling at Ben, and he's like, and Peter walks past him. He's like, hey, Peter,
yeah,
like as they're cool because they're cool or whatever.
right, right.
Parker. I've
Also,
always fucked with J. Jonah Jameson. I don't know
no
why.
way.
I like him. I don't know why. Yes, he's a bastard. He's
He's the
like a
fake news
fucking
king, man.
conspiracy theorist, but I don't know, man. I fuck with him.
I fuck with him in this. Also, this comic was crazy because we basically we got to see like quite a few characters like where they're at. You know what I mean? Because J. Jonah Jameson and Ben Parker, they are like the heads of the Daily Bugle. They run it. They're best friends. They're nice. And then Peter is like an underling somewhere, reporter. But we find out that May's dead, Aunt May, and
And
Aunt
May
May,
die.
yeah, she died in the terrorist attack,
Mm-hmm.
perpetrated by what everybody thinks to be Tony Stark, um, which
Yep.
we know otherwise. But like, they attend a vigil, and the main speaker is Harry Osborn, whose father is dead, um, and he has like a weird, ominous speech. But also, the
Yeah.
father at the vigil is Matt Murdock,
Yeah, I
and Matt
noticed that.
Murdock is
Yeah,
the
he's
father.
the priest.
Yeah, yeah.
He's still blind, which is
He's
pretty unfortunate.
That is unfortunate. But
How are they? I wonder if they're gonna recruit him into Daredevil.
I
Like,
don't
and
know.
how would they? Because as far as I know, he's Daredevil because he, trained to be from being blind all the time. But, you know,
He might still be Daredevil.
he, good point. You're
Outside
right.
outside of a midnight mass here and there, by day he walks in the light of God,
That'd be
and
pretty tight.
at night
I
he
actually kind of
fucking
fuck with
cracks
that.
heads. That'd be
A
kind of fucking
priest
sick.
Daredevil, that's sick. I want the ultimate Daredevil comic. I need that.
Yeah, yeah. I'm wondering if we'll see him in more of these Ultimate Spider-Man comics, just because in all the Spider-Man, like they always cross paths, right? Like Hell's
Yeah,
Kitchen
yeah.
and
They kind of live in like the
yeah,
same.
same
Kingpin is
area.
around.
Yeah, so it sounds like, and then after that, there's like some J. Jonah Jameson, Ben Parker. They quit the job at the Daily Bugle because
Hmm.
the Kingpin, who apparently is like one of the main sponsors of the Daily Bugle, is
Hmm.
asking them to take a more lax, or trying trying to get them not to investigate the terror attack that killed May as much. And so the old timers, they hightail it out of there. But the Kingpin, is like nasty, and he's there, and it seems like he's
He
still,
does what the Kingpin
yeah,
does.
yeah. In any
Another
universe,
person
the
I fucked with.
Kingpin's
I fuck
King.
with Kingpin heavy.
I like the designs for this Kingpin too, because it reminds me of the what's the Across the Spider Verse. It reminds me of that
Yeah,
Kingpin
like the
design,
big ass body.
big,
Yeah,
bulky, and just like all black, like no shadows
bald.
or it. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
he's a
mean, I
part
think
of the Bald Brotherhood.
yeah, Bald Brotherhood. Take that cap off. Show him one time.
Nope.
All right. Well,
Take
I
yours off.
tried.
If it
I
turned out
can't.
that you were wearing a fucking like man piece this whole time,
That'd be so funny.
I would respect it.
I
I'd respect it.
If I wore a, did you say a man piece?
Yeah, like a wig. Like
Um,
not it's not a wig
it's a
really. It's
toupee, like a toupee,
well,
or
I think a toupee is only just when it's like the top, but if you just had like the full, when they fucking put
wig.
the whole thing over.
Yeah.
and then like glue it to your head. So, anyways, after all this shit goes on, after, Ben and J. Jonah Jameson, Triple J quits, they both kind of just get right back on that. They get right back on the grind immediately. They're already talking about like starting up some new shit. And while they're having that conversation, Peter comes up and he starts having like, you know, this like moment with Ben where Ben's like, you can do what you want. If you want to join us, you can. If not, I support you, it seems like. But it seems like Peter is kind of struggling with something else. It doesn't seem like it's really about the work. And he goes home and talks to Mary Jane about it. And it's kind of the same thing. They're talking about, he's like, I need to make a change. I need to do this. And she's like, you supported me. I will obviously support you. If you want to go start a business with your uncle, blah, blah, blah. He's like, I ain't talking about a business.
Right.
And it turns out what he was actually talking about was he had gotten a message from Tony Stark. The message basically was saying that, basically giving him the rundown of what's going on, how, things are not supposed to be how they are. He was supposed to be a superhero already. And in that same box that the message came in was the catalyst for Spider-Man, which was the spider.
Mm-hmm.
And the change that Peter wanted to make, that he's been pondering over all day, was whether or not he wanted to become Spider-Man, and it looks like he made that choice. And this new thing, I'm really excited to get, further into it. I've only read the first ones of Spider-Man, and I only read the first Ultimate Universe one. I'm really excited to see how this goes. We always see Spider-Man, he becomes Spider-Man as a kid.
Right.
And this is like, he's an adult now, and he already has kids. He already has responsibilities. He has a job. He's already with Mary Jane. And it's going to be interesting to see how he tries to balance all this
I'm
and how he's
worried.
going to go about it. I'm a little worried.
I feel like
I
he
feel like a
has it
lot.
all, and all he can all that could
All he
happen
can
right
do is
now
lose it.
is he could literally lose everything. Like that's all
Yeah.
Spider-Man ever does, and he has
Like,
more than he has ever had.
yeah, dude. He's not even like, I mean, he's not like poor,
They
but
got a nice ass apartment.
they got a nice apartment. But they're talking about, we got bills. So, they're probably not like fucking rolling in the dough. But we ain't seen Peter like this really.
Yeah,
Like,
Daddy Peter.
like you said, he only has things to lose, and he has a
Yeah,
lot of them. Uncle Ben is still. I mean, Aunt May's dead, so that kind of balances the Uncle Ben thing. I
right,
doubt
right.
he's probably safe,
But
but
Peter's
he
so
has
well
two kids.
adjusted. Yeah, yeah. He has got two
He
kids,
has
one
two of
wife,
them,
an
and
uncle.
wife. Yeah, we'll see. I'm excited
Yeah,
to see more how other character stories change, and I'm probably gonna check out Black Panther next, and then the X-Men one.
I'm excited for the X-Men one.
Yeah, I know there's big fucking changes with that, and I'm really excited to see what's
Yeah,
going on there.
the Black Panther one. I read the Black Panther one too. There's
Yeah,
big changes. Yep.
is it T'Challa still?
Yeah, but it's Moon Knight because Moon Knight is one of the leaders of that dark cabal as well. So it's like
Word.
it's crazy.
Moon Knight. Okay.
Yeah,
But yeah, I mean, that's the pod.
that's the pod.
We got into it today. We talked about
Yeah.
Ultimate. We got into the new universe. We'll likely do more. It'll be kind of a mixed bag. Like, we're going to finish the Mistborn series. All these episodes are going to be fucking labeled, so you don't have to worry about like continuity. We're going to be finishing stuff. We're going to be continuing stuff. Like, we're going to do another comic book episode at some point. We're also probably going to get into like manga. We
Any
might,
book.
yeah, any book, any type of book. We'll probably get into it. We might even just talk about fucking D&D one day. Who the fuck knows? We can
Yeah.
literally do whatever we want.
Yeah.
Going back to my rant on free will,
Free
we can do what the
will.
fuck we want. Yeah,
That's right.
this is our pod.
Uh huh. This ain't your pod.
It's not your pod. You don't own us.
Right. Only people that own us are our sponsors, the Omega Bazaar.
The Omega Bazaar. But yeah, that's the pod, y'all. IndigoFather100 on Twitter, Twitch, TikTok, wherever. At Grimoire Gang on TikTok. Check us out there. We got our clips. If you wanna, if you like if you watching our shit and you think a clip is funny or something, just let us know and we could probably put it up on our TikTok or something.
Yep.
Or you could post it on your shit. Whatever. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Omega Marcusus across all platforms.
Yes,
Any
sir.
any parting words, sir?
Like, comment, subscribe. Go give us 5 stars on Spotify. Go give us
Yes.
some likes on Apple Podcasts. Follow
It
us on
helps.
Instagram.
It really helps.
Make it happen. You know what I mean?
Did you want to plug your Patreon?
And for all your sticker needs, check out the Omega Bazaar Patreon.
Yeah.
Monthly subscription, stickers to your door. You don't even have to go outside
To
for
your
that.
door.
You usually got to go to a store and step over kids for that. Okay?
I got some, but they're stuck on. I already stuck them onto something, and I
That's
can't
all right.
lift it up. But I got
They're
that
there.
from him.
Yep. I make art.
See this?
Yes, sir.
That's the Omega Marcusus original, and I got
Original.
it right there.
That's right. Hit that up.
Hit it
And that's
up.
it. And that's it. And that's
That
it.
shit's hard. But yeah, that's the pod. Peace, y'all. Omega.